Hey folks, the NFL season is right around the corner, which means it's time to give our final predictions for the Carolina Panthers 2024 season. Let's jump right in. What is going on, folks? If you are here, please hit that subscribe button, or if you're listening to the audio version of the podcast or watching it on Spotify, please follow the show. It is much appreciated. Give us that 5-star review. Hey, folks, let's jump in right into it. So I've done a lot of previews when we had the schedule release. Then I've been on a few podcasts. I've talked about it along the way. We've dissected the schedule multiple times. But it's time to give you a realistic view of where I think the Panthers are going to finish this year. We can start with the baseline, which is Vegas, and whether or not you want to believe that. Like, sure, we've seen a lot of misses in Vegas where last year the Houston Texans projected to be bad, Tampa Bay Buccaneers projected to be bad, and both of those teams did quite well, if we're being honest. No doubt about it. So when we take a look at the baseline, though, right now for the Panthers, it's around 5.5. Most places I see. And so from a win-loss perspective, I think if the Panthers could get to 6, maybe 7 wins, and they're competitive and the games at the end of the year mean something, that would be a huge improvement. You know, I like to look at the Campbell model for Detroit, where they won 3, then 9, and then 12 to win the division. Stacking those wins, stacking those seasons, and improving each year. So for the Carolina Panthers, I think this is a great opportunity to do that. When I look at their schedule, it's difficult. The first half of the schedule is easier than the second half. And unfortunately, the Panthers, when you look at the draw of where they finished at in the division last year, isn't great. So looking at the teams that they have to play based off of where they finished, you have the Cincinnati Bengals, who should be vastly improved, the Chicago Bears, who have improved across the board and have Caleb Williams, who I think is going to be pretty decent, and the Arizona Cardinals, who also should be improved. So you've got all three of those teams that should be on the come up this year, and unfortunately, like, the Panthers couldn't get a New England or whoever else is kind of at the bottom working their way back up. So it is what it is. But taking a look at the schedule, and I did like my path to the playoffs for the Panthers. That was not a true prediction, but more of like, how could they get to the playoffs? When I look at the first half, that's where they gotta stack some dubs. So Saints, Chargers, Raiders, like, gotta win 1 to 2 games out of there. I think the Bengals going to be difficult. The Bears, the Falcons. And I guess really if I'm going to do a true prediction, I should go through this. And so I've got all my notes from where I went to path to the playoffs. I'm going to try not to steer too far from that. But I do think the Panthers can win in week 1. Like, hands down, week 1, winnable game. So I'd put 1 in the books. The Chargers is going to, I think that's winnable too. But I'm going to chalk that up as a loss when we get into realistic expectations. So still 1. The Raiders, although traveling, a good defense, improved from last year. The Panthers had Gardner Minshew's number, and I think they could take advantage of that. So I'm going to put the Raiders as the second win for the Carolina Panthers. Cincinnati Bengals, tough. We're going to chalk that one up as a loss. Chicago Bears, I don't want to stack too many wins early because I'm going to get ahead of myself, which may not be a good thing. I do think the Chicago Bears is a winnable game, but for all intents and purposes of going through this, we're going to say that's a loss. The Falcons should be vastly improved, so a loss there. And this is why I saved some of my wins. I do think the Panthers can beat Washington. I'm not afraid of Washington. And same thing with the Broncos. I'm going to put 2 wins there, and I think the Broncos only because I'm not sold on Bo Nix, Zach Wilson, or Sean Payton or anything there. So that would put us at 4 wins in the first half of the schedule. I think the Saints would be a loss, and I think the New York Giants in Germany would put us at 5 wins. That's 500. Here I am stacking dubs again, but I think that's the way it's going to go. So 5-5. Chiefs would be a loss, so 5-6. Bucks, another loss, 5-7. Eagles, 5-8, we'll put that as a loss. The Cowboys should be better, so 5-9. And I think the Cardinals should be winnable, so that would put us at 6-9. Tampa Bay, I had us losing the first time around, but I think it's going to be difficult. I do think we could split. It just depends on, they're probably going to be fighting for the division. And I have us at 6 wins already. So I do think I'll put that as a loss. And the final game of the year against the Falcons, I have a feeling the Falcons are going to be resting their starters. So for me, I will put that as a win. And that would put the Panthers at 7-10. Now my full-on prediction for them is probably 6 to 7 wins. You may be able to talk me into 8 or 9 as the season goes on, but let's set the bar where it should be. Let's let them do the work, and then everything will take care of itself as we get into the year. So not going to be too concerned. Anyways, folks, drop your predictions for the Carolina Panthers. And as always, thank y'all for tuning in. This is Carolina Dad. Y'all have a good one.